When Makoto first created Asora, it seemed like nothing more than a safe haven. A sanctuary. A place where those who had been rejected could finally live in peace. For a long time. That's exactly how most fans saw it. But there's one detail that changes everything. Asora was never just a refuge. In reality, it's becoming the single most important piece in the war that's coming. And perhaps not even Makoto fully realizes it yet. But that still doesn't explain everything. Because if Asora were simply another powerful city, it wouldn't be much different from any other kingdom. So, what makes Asora so special? The answer begins with something almost nobody notices. Nearly every nation in that world was built on prejudice, division, and inequality. Asora was built on the exact opposite. Humans live there. Elves, dwarves, orcs, lizard men, spiders, dragons, demi-humans. Races that would never peacefully coexist anywhere else. And the most interesting part, they don't live together because they have to. They stay because they choose to. But living in peace alone doesn't win wars. There's something even more important. While other kingdoms spend most of their resources simply trying to survive, Asora keeps growing. New buildings appear. Agriculture improves. Production increases. Research advances. Magic becomes stronger. And every new resident makes the nation even more powerful. Think about this. Makoto never set out to build a kingdom. Yet somehow, that's exactly what he created. And it may already be more efficient than any nation in that world. But there's an even bigger difference. Most kingdoms rely on authority, titles, fear, military power. Asora is held together by something completely different. Trust. People follow Makoto because they believe in him. Not because they're forced to. And that creates something incredibly rare. A level of loyalty that almost no ruler could ever achieve. But that still doesn't explain why Asora could decide an entire war. There's one detail that rarely gets any attention. Wars aren't won by soldiers alone. An army needs food, weapons, equipment, magic, research, doctors, transportation, organization. While everyone focuses on Tomoe, Mio, or Makoto himself, the real power has been growing quietly behind the scenes. Every farm, every laboratory, every workshop, every researcher, every merchant, all of it makes Asora stronger every single day. And perhaps that's its greatest weapon. It keeps growing, even when no battles are being fought. But there's something even more important. Throughout the story, the goddess built a world divided by race. She favored humans, separated different races, created social hierarchies, and convinced everyone that this was the only possible way. Makoto unknowingly did the exact opposite. Without trying to challenge the goddess, he created a place where those barriers simply no longer exist. And that may be exactly what makes Asora so dangerous. Because ideas spread. And once people discover that there's a nation where different races truly prosper together, many will begin questioning the very world they live in. But that still isn't the biggest change. Here's the question very few fans ask. What happens when a nation like Asora can no longer remain hidden? Until now, it has grown beyond the eyes of the world. But that won't last forever. The larger it becomes, the harder it will be to hide. And when kings, generals, merchants, and even the goddess herself finally realize what Makoto has built, they'll stop seeing him as merely an incredibly powerful adventurer. For the first time, they'll realize Makoto possesses something even more dangerous than overwhelming strength. He possesses a nation. And a nation united by trust can be far more difficult to defeat than any army. Perhaps that's exactly why so many light novel readers consider this one of Tsukimichi's greatest turning points. Because Makoto's true strength was never just his magic. Nor Tomoe. Nor Mio. Nor his limitless mana. His greatest power has always been something quietly growing while everyone else was focused on the battles. Asora. Because when the war finally begins, it may not be Makoto alone who changes the fate of the world. It may be everything he managed to build without ever realizing it. Now I'd like to hear your thoughts. Do you think Asora will become Makoto's greatest weapon? Or do you believe something else will determine the future of Tsukimichi? Share your theory in the comments.